This is The Creative Obsession, and my name is Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is April 27th, 2018, and I'm so glad that you stopped by to visit with me. This is my channel where I talk about my creative endeavors, mostly quilting and knitting. So if you're new, that's what you can expect. If you're returning, thanks so much for being here and coming back. I really do appreciate it. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry. I have an Etsy shop where I sell my hand-dyed yarn. Those links are in the description box below this YouTube video. So you can just click on the active link and it'll take you right where you want to go. And I think that's about it. So thanks for being here. Last weekend, kind of as a long weekend, went camping, and so that was super fun. And I hopefully have put in some pictures in the intro to this video that you can see. We went to Central Oregon and we tent camped along the Deschutes River, and the campground is Max Canyon, if anybody knows the area. And it was really fun and really relaxing. We camp a lot and we hike a lot, but we also have a fifth wheel trailer. And you can't always go everywhere you want to go in the fifth wheel trailer. So we do backpacking, which we haven't done in a few years, but a lot of our tent camping stuff is geared more towards backpacking, which means everything's pretty small. Your tent's little, all your stuff is little because it's all got to be able to be carried on your back. So this year, with some of our tax refund, we upgraded some of our camping gear to still be able to do the tent camping, but do a little bit bigger, a little bit more comfortable. We got cots for the tent, so I'm not on the ground anymore, and just kind of upgraded, I guess, our camping stuff. And it was really, really nice. It was really comfortable. Everything worked great and was good. So I may have some stuff at the end of this. One of the things we did is I sat and I knitted, and we didn't go on any hikes. We have hiked that area quite a bit in the past, and so we kind of have seen what we want to see there. And we just really wanted to just relax. And being that we were there in the spring, there are a lot of bighorn sheep that are up on the cliffs and the mountainsides that are right there. And we sat for the whole weekend and just basically watched what we called bighorn TV. It was like just watch these herds of bighorn sheep up on the cliffs and stuff, and they had little babies. And just watching the dynamics of how they work as a herd and how the aunties help with the mama to help with the babies, and the babies trying to hop up on these cliffs, and how the mamas were like, trying to encourage them. It was just really, really interesting. And we just sat there. We had a campsite right on the Deschutes River, and the weather was glorious, and it just was a really nice weekend and really fun. We were going to take Millie, and our plan was to take her. And just a couple days before we were going to leave, I said, I think I remember last time we were there, which we don't normally take her over there because there are rattlesnakes and, ticks and those kinds of things. And so we thought, well, we're not going to hike, so we'll be able to watch her more closely because she likes to just wander around. But I remember there being like foxtails or something like that. And those are like a weed that can get into a dog's fur, into their ears and stuff. And they just keep going forward and they don't back out because they've got these barbs. So we decided not to take her kind of at the last minute. And so she got to stay with Robert and Michael, and which she did great. She's never stayed with them before. But now that they're in their new house, it's a better situation for them to watch her. So anyway, she stayed with them, and we didn't see so many of the foxtails, but we did see these other seed things. I don't know even what they are, but they're just in the ground cover on the ground. And as you walk around and you move, they just sort of pop up. And I'll put a picture here of what they were. They were stuck in my blanket, and she would have had those things all over her. It would have been miserable because her hair is like very cottony. and she's like a little Swiffer. She would have had them everywhere. So we were really glad we didn't take her. You know, miss having her camping with us, but it did allow us to relax a little bit more. We would have been really on guard and concerned that she was getting these things all over her, and there would be no way of her not getting them because they were just all over on the ground. So I don't know what they are, but they're just the weirdest little things. So fantastic trip. I did get a lot of knitting done. I've had to take some of it out because I'd be knitting along and I'm going along, and then, you know, Jim's sitting there with his binoculars and he'd say, oh, now the babies are moving or whatever. So you have to stop because you're just super distracted by these herds of bighorn sheep that are all over the mountain. And then I'd be like, oh crap, those last 15 rows, I did the increases wrong or whatever. So I'd rip it all back out. So I knitted a lot, but I didn't make a whole lot of progress. But I will show you what I did make progress on. So it was the sheep's fault. But I did have backups. And so when I realized I was getting super distracted, I just ended up pulling out my corner to corner crochet blanket and just doing that, because that you can stop wherever you are and it's not a big deal. So I did get some rows done on that, but I'm not going to show you because I'll wait till I get more of it done. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. As soon as we got home, I started doing some dyeing. I got inspired to dye a couple different colorways that I've added to the shop, and I will show those at the end. But meanwhile, let's just get on with the show. Last episode, I had a couple of different giveaways, and so I've picked winners using random number generator. Your entries were on Ravelry, and the first is for the pattern for that 70s tee by Janine McCarty, and that's the project that I've been pretty monogamously working on. And so for the free pattern, that went to entry number 17, who is Cynsuniga. Cyn, it's you. You know who you are. So congratulations, Cyn. I hope you enjoy the pattern. I'm enjoying making mine currently. I will get in touch with Janine, and she will get your pattern to you, and you'll find that in your Ravelry library. So thank you so much for everybody for entering. Do check out the pattern. I will show what I'm working on in a little bit here. Another giveaway that I was doing was, trying not to crinkle, for these 5 balls of bamboo pop yarn in this turquoise colorway that's called something. Does it have a name? Do they have names for their colors? Did I go through this last time? Okay, we're going to call it turquoise. So anyway, the winner for that was number 29, which is elphanna. Elphanna, you don't have a name or your location on your Ravelry page, so please get in contact with me, and I don't know your name. And if you can contact me through Ravelry and give me your address, I will get these sent out to you promptly. So thank you everybody who entered in both of those giveaways. I do appreciate that. I do have another giveaway. I mentioned to you guys last time, and I kind of did a little product review for the hand salve that I've been using from Woolen & Company. And Caitlin, the owner of Woolen & Company, I ordered some more for myself. She sent some to use as a giveaway. So Caitlin, thank you so much. I really love your product. This one is Revive. And so it is a lanolin infused body balm, peppermint, eucalyptus, and lemongrass. So there's all different kinds of oils and things like that. So you can, she has an Etsy shop, Woolen & Co. So if you want to see more of the ingredients or whatever that are in there, go check out her shop. I am going to give this away. I'm going to just do it here on YouTube because it's not really a knitting related thing. And so some of you may not be on Ravelry if you're not knitters. So leave a comment if you would like to try this. I do really like the one that I'm using, and I ordered a couple more because I like it so much. So thank you, Caitlin, and leave a comment below for that if you would like a chance to win that. So I have been doing some sewing. I've been trying to get through the next animal on the Forest Friends quilt that I'm making. And I really wanted to have the next animal I'm making is the bunny. And I really wanted to have them done for you, but I just couldn't get them done. There's a lot of pieces to this one block, and I have to make 8 of them, I believe. And so there's a lot of pieces, but I did get ears done. So I have bunny ears. So it's coming along. I wanted to get it done, like I said, so I will hopefully by next time have those all finished. When I get the bunnies done, I'm going to kind of put that project aside for a little bit because there's a couple of other projects that I want to work on. And being that I have a couple of years to finish this quilt, it's okay to put it aside. And it's, you know, it gets kind of intense because there's a lot of pieces. This is just the bunny ears, and you've got 18 pieces just for the ears. So, you know, there's at least that many, it seems like, anyway, for the rest of it. So, you know, it takes time, and it's fine. It's fine to take the time, but I do have some projects I want to do in a more timely manner. So once I get the bunnies done, I will show those next time because I will have those done. I'm going to finish those before I start my next project. I'm trying really hard. And the next project I'm going to make, I may or may not show. I'm not really sure yet because it is for somebody. But for some reason, you know, I don't know. I guess I don't have to have a reason. I was on the internet looking for something. How vague is that? But I came across this pattern by the same designer that did the Forest Friends quilt. And she's got, what is it? Lloyd and Lola. It's 2 llamas. I mean, come on. So I bought the pattern, and I don't plan on making the whole quilt because I don't need that. But she has directions on the back to make a pillow with the llama. And so I may or may not do the little balls next to them, but can you see how cute that is? Hopefully that's focusing. Is it focusing? I mean, that is so cute. So Lloyd and Lola, such a cute quilt. She writes a very nice pattern. I don't know how somebody's brain works like that. To be able to, I could draft it out. I could certainly draft it out. And the process of how she has you make it is so clever and intricate that it's kind of amazing. So definitely worth the cost of the patterns because her patterns are a little more expensive, but they're very extensive. So I don't know when that's going to be made. It was just like, okay, I got to get that pattern. Because like I said before, I like to buy patterns because if I want to at some point, then I have it. So, so that's what I've been working on sewing wise. And like I said, I will continue making those bunnies and then I'm moving on. Like I had said, I've been pretty monogamous. I've been working on that 70s tee by Janine McCarty. And I am making it out of my new colorway that is called I Believe in Unicorns. So you've got some pink and like periwinkle and a little splash of neon green. Because I think it's just kind of springy, summery. And like I said, I've had to take back a little bit. I've had to restart some stuff. There's lots of ends, so let me try and get that managed. But I'm on the road. So I'm at the point now where I'm just knitting in the round. So the way she has you make this is you make the sleeves first, and the sleeves are striped. My stripes are with a periwinkle blue color that I used to have in my shop. So it's very subtle, which is what I wanted. And then you make the back to a certain point, put it on waist yarn. Then you make kind of these triangle shapes that go up around your neckline individually, put those on waist yarn. Then you start the front, you add those on. I mean, it all goes well. You just do it one step at a time. It sounds really complicated when I'm explaining it, but it goes really well. I was having some issues with this looking like it's puckering right here, and I think that when I did my increases, I maybe pulled it a little too tight, which I don't think I did, but that's kind of what's been happening. So I took the sleeves off and I steam pressed both the front and back, and that did help considerably. And so now I'm putting the sleeves back on, and then I will continue to just work around and around on the body. So as you can see, I've only got like half of the second sleeve done, but I'll get that on. So it's just mattress stitched on. And then I think when I give it a full blocking, everything will just work out nicely. So it's kind of a crop top right now. Fingering weight sweater, uses a size 5 needle, and there's not much else to say. And so once that's all done, then you pick up and you do your ribbing with the color that you did your stripes with, if you choose to. I could do something totally different. I probably won't. I'll probably use that blue color just because it's pretty. So, yeah. I am alternating skeins. I don't know what else to say about it. It's all going really nicely. Once I get that other sleeve back on all the way, then it's just knitting in the round. It's really good TV knitting. I like that relaxing knit. And like I said, I had taken it camping and was trying to work on it, but was getting distracted with the dang sheep. And then a breeze would blow, and now my yarn's stuck on the sage bush, and you know, the trials and tribulations. But it does feel good to get to that part where you can just sit and knit and you don't really have to watch. And I worked on it a little bit yesterday, and I caught the first episode of season 2 of Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. Okay, that's a very disturbing but good show. Like, I shouldn't really like it, but I do. So it was one of those, like, I'm just like watching and knitting away. So so that was really good. Last week when I had mentioned, I told you about how Allison gave me some magic cakes, and I had set aside other stuff that I didn't talk about, and it was right in front of my face, and I just didn't talk about it. She had also made and sent me this cool sock bag. Well, I'm going to use it as a sock bag that she made, so you can do this and knit with it. And she also included a skein of perfect sock yarn in the Anthracite colorway, color 07095. So it's very subtle gray striping. So there's not really any directions on here. There might be on the inside. So the idea is that this yellow strand of yarn tells you where the beginning is, and then you knit your sock, and then you find where pull it out until you find the next strand of yellow yarn, and then that's your second sock, where your second sock would be. So I have to figure out how to start it so that the yellow isn't in it. I don't want to have the yellow color on it, although I could, and it could just be a yellow stripe at the top. That'd be fine. Maybe I'll do that. That way I can make my knot right where the yellow and gray meet. If I make my knot there, cast on, then they'll both be the same. That should work. Plus, it's really subtly shaded, so I don't know if it's going to make a whole lot of difference if they're not exactly perfect, but that was super generous. She sent me 2 of those magic cakes for my blanket, and a bag and a skein of yarn. And I'm sorry, Allison, that I didn't mention it last podcast. It was right in front of my face, and I just didn't mention it, but I do appreciate it so much. Another thing that I had right in front of my face is I had bought this skein from Huckleberry Knits. She had this colorway called Angelica, and it's just these rich jewel tones, and I got it on the Yak Silk Merino blend because I just thought I was going to treat myself. If I'm going to go big or go home, you know. So this will be super cozy, like a cowl or something, because it's really soft. With one skein of yarn, you're not going to get enough to do a shawl or something like that, but I could get a nice cowl or something out of it. So really, really pretty purples and greens, but it's all very deep and lovely. Meanwhile, also what's happened is, how many weeks ago? I guess this has been a few weeks. Well, last time I recorded, I had already ordered the yarn. There was kind of an anti-bullying campaign going on where some makers and dyers were making or dyeing something that's part of the proceeds would go to some sort of anti-bullying something, school or program or something like that. I think it was started by Christy of Yarn Cafe Creations. I'm pretty sure she's the one that started it. And I don't know if you follow Jaden. She's Little Prairie Purl, and her sister Tara have a yarn dyeing business called Mid-Knit Cravings. And so they dyed the skein, and it's called Room for Everyone. It's still going to be available into May. I'm not sure when exactly they'll stop making it, but it's really pretty. And if you watch Jaden on her podcast Little Prairie Purl that she puts out, her last episode that she did, she explained the colors and kind of the story about how she chose that. So I wanted to support her. I've been wanting to buy some of their yarn, and so that was just sort of the push I needed. So then, because you're there, you might as well get something that goes with it. I got Velvet Plum because I just love this color, and I think they go beautifully together. Once again, I'm matching my background, but I think they go really pretty together because this is very soft with the pinks and the greens and the aquas and stuff, and with this as a contrasting color, I think is really pretty. So we've got Room for Everyone and Velvet Plum. I got both of them on their Sweet Sock, which is an 80-20, 115 grams, 425 yards. Yeah. They have really pretty yarn. So I was really glad to get that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. It's got to be something like just so. This was on the bottom of the pile. I thought it was a little more organized than that. I had posted on Instagram before we went camping. I had knitted Millie a sweater. And so I wanted to show you. Now, I didn't end up weaving in the ends because then we decided that she wasn't going to go. And so it really wasn't that important. But someone had mentioned, it's been a few episodes ago, and made a comment and suggested a website called Knit It Now, and they have, it's geared for machine knitting. And as you know, I have a knitting machine that I want to do more sweaters and things like that on. And so it is what's considered a dynamic pattern. They have dynamic patterns, which means you can put in your gauge. So I can knit in like fingering or DK or worsted, whatever it is, get gauge, do a swatch, and then say, okay, these are the amount of stitches per inch, amount of rows per inch, and I want to make a sweater. And they have options of like what kind of shoulders, and do you want it straight or fitted or blah, blah, blah. And you kind of go through this whole thing, and it spits out a pattern based on your gauge. And they had a dog sweater. So I thought I'll try that. So I knit it with my Cherry Blossom colorway. And so she hates it, but she doesn't like to wear any kind of jacket or anything. Like it could be, sub-zero, and I'm like going to put her little jacket on, and you think that I just put a 90-pound pack on her back. She just flattens to the ground like, I can't walk. So I had to do her measurements, did the different measurements that asked for around the neck, the chest, how long from here to there, and all that stuff. The one thing that's it didn't really turn out to be where it would be super comfortable for her, is it made the legs too close together, and so when she puts it on, it kind of pulls because her legs are more like out here. And so I don't want to rip it apart and do it again because the rest of it seems to fit her okay, although she would tell you it's not. So I think I'm gonna see if I can somehow, cut this. If I sew it and cut it, make the hole bigger, maybe do bias tape or something. I'm not really sure. I mean, this isn't something she would need until next winter at this point. Maybe if we go camping and the nights are kind of cold, she might need to wear it. But I had made it because I thought, well, it's, the evenings are still cold. you know, the daytime over there where we were can get pretty warm, but then, you know, you're high desert, so it can be chilly at night. So I was thinking, well, she could wear this at night so that at least when she's curled up wherever she was going to sleep, probably with Jim, because she likes to sleep with him, curled up, then she would at least have something on hers to make sure that she would stay warm. So if anybody has a suggestion on what I can do, because her legs fit through it. Her legs do fit through it, but it's like her leg wants to be over here a little bit. So I need to make that, and it's maybe not that big of a deal, but it looks like it's pulling, and maybe it's not. You can't tell by her because she thinks that you just like beat her to death because you put a sweater on her, as you can tell by the photo. So, yeah, if you have any suggestions with that, but thank you. I forget now who it was that suggested that website. That's been great. I have yet to make a sweater. I have one printed out that I want to try. And so I will be doing that. It's just a matter of getting the time to do it. So that's that. Let me just really quick look at my notes, because last time I thought I looked at my notes and I skipped stuff. Okay. Yeah, I remembered everything. So now I want to go into some of the new things that are going to be in my shop. Some new colorways, and then I do want to show you kind of some ways that you can use them. So one of them is the one that I'm making my sweater out of, is I Believe in Unicorns. So you've got that one. I've got a couple of sock blanks with this kind of mauve and gold and a little bit of purple in it. This one's on sparkle, and then I have one that's not sparkle, that's just regular. And then that inspired this new colorway, which is called Jukebox. And it is like golds and mauves and pink and a little bit, a tiny bit of purple splashed in there. And this looks, okay, so everybody's doing this, you know, still doing fade things. And so if you're into a fade, I wanted to kind of show you how you could use this. So this is Whisper, which just has very soft pink and tan in it. This is Rose Petals, so you've got a little bit of mauve. This is Marvelous. Okay, so we've got those three. And you put that with Jukebox. And then you can do Old Soul. You can do Mademoiselle. You could do, oh, where's the other one? Oh, Royalty. Royalty is like a deep purple. I'll use theirs as an example, but this is Midnight Cravings. So that's a good fade. That's a really pretty fade. Let's do that. Or do that. Isn't that pretty? I think that would be so pretty if you're into a fade thing. Another new color, sorry, let me just kind of unload here. A couple of other new colors that I have. This is a new one called Treehouse. So you've got lots of different shades of green and a little bit of speckling. And this new one is called Lichen. So you've got like a taupey beige color with some green on it, because this reminded me of lichen. Now lichen is a fungus. So it's a fungus, like you would think of a mushroom, but it grows, it looks more like moss. So if you see like usually on a rock or something, and this kind of this green mossy stuff growing on it, a lot of times that's lichen. There's different kinds. There's the kind that hang out of the trees and all that kind of stuff, but that's where that name came from. So you've got, if you do this, which this is Boots and Bows, this is Truffle Hunter, you put that with Lichen, Treehouse, and Chestnut. That's a pretty combination, don't you think? So if you're into more of the beiges and more soft colors, that's a good combination. I also updated some stuff, like I put more of the Marvelous in there because that was sold out of some bases. And right now I have Jukebox available on a few different bases. I still need to dye more of Lichen and Treehouse on different bases, but right now it's available on my Cushy sock. So, and if there's ever anything that you see that you're like, oh, I need, you know, I want to make a sweater out of this, which would be really pretty, you know, let me know, and I can dye up a quantity for you. So that is all the new stuff. Like I said, I also re-listed some more quantities of some colors that are just my standard colorways that are in the shop. So check that out. So that is it for today. It's a short and sweet one because I only had the one knitting project to share with you, and I didn't finish my quilt stuff. But I wanted to make sure I gave the giveaways away. So remember, if you want to enter for the hand salve from Woolen & Co., leave a message below saying that you would like to win that. Some people like to comment, which I loved having comments, and so, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean because you can't comment that you want to win the whatever giveaway it is. So leave a comment that you would like that, and I suggest to you to go look at her shop and see if there's something in there that you like, because she's got good products. So keep on crafting, keep on making, and I will see you guys back here in a couple of weeks and to share some more of what I got going on. So stay tuned for a little bit of stuff afterwards here of some more of my camping trip. Thanks for being here.